Peace be with you. Two questions. Which God and which world? I'm here at St. Paul's, and I want to challenge you to look at John chapter 3, verse 16. Because the Bible says very clearly, for God so loved the world. Which God? That he gave his only Son, so that everyone who believes in him might not perish, but have eternal life. I'd invite you to join the Catholic Church by first considering the Eucharist. Indisputably, through human history, it has been proven time and time again that no attack against the Catholic Church can or ever will prevail. That the Catholic Church is the most powerful entity on the planet with regards to serving the public, with regards to private ownership of land without taxation, with regards to teaching and educating, and with regards to health care. Now, why are those realities true statistically? Because they're honored, even in secular news and academia, we're honored for that reality. It is not particularly that those people have some kind of favor that's not accessible to you, because it may very well be. It is a reality, though, that God has a plan for each one of our lives, and that within Catholicism there is access to the Eucharist. That is the sacred heart of Jesus. If you're looking to fill the plug, if you want to plaster the walls of your heart, you need this living, sacred tissue. That's the difference in the Catholic Church and any other church that proclaims to be a church of the living God. So I would ask you, if you've not heard that message before from the Bible, the basic of for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, do you believe in God? And if you do, which God do you believe in? Because if you progress on the ancient path and ask yourself sufficient questions in a challenging manner, you'll come to a creator God just based on natural law. You'll eventually come through social order and structure to a constitutional God. And after that, I believe you should come to a merciful God, because we do, as sinners, need the grace and the pardon of Christ. Now, that particular passage there has been preached by many evangelists, many priests, and many pastors from different organizations, all who claim to be Christian. But let it be known that the God who so loved the world didn't just give us baptism, which is a step that you should take. And that is a seal of your election as one of God's members of the kingdom. It's an oxymoron. He chose us, yet we choose him at the same time. So you need to get baptized. That's step one. If you're a theist and you understand or are conscious of your sin, is to go get baptized. Step two is to consider the Eucharist, because that is a tangible, objective truth, a reality point with subjective truth as well. Scientific evidence proves that the weight of the evidence is there should you care to study the Eucharist. Over 100 miracles, and I don't just believe the miracles because I've read about the evidence and it's secondhand. I tested it myself with a breathalyzer, and I have had comparative studies. The Eucharist is in fact what the church teaches it is. So for God so loved the world, the God that gave us Jesus, his only begotten Son, and still gives us Jesus in the Eucharist. That's the gospel. If you get a message short or shy or in any way redacted of that truth, you are going to be left with a void, because you're going to be inheriting of sort the promises without the power to fulfill what God calls you to do. He calls you to keep the Ten Commandments and to be holy as he is holy. But without the Eucharist, you cannot be holy. Baptism gives you a positional holiness and a Christian rite holiness, R-I-T-E, but to sustain yourself on the ancient path, you have got to have the sacred heart of Jesus. His body, his blood, his soul, and his divinity is the transaction. A sacred tissue given to you, a godly gift, so that on the journey you won't perish, because that's God's will. Not that you perish, but that you be saved. So part 2, here today, first Friday, August 2nd, 2024, as I'm telling people, just be ready. Be holy. If you get baptized and keep the 10 Commandments, there's nothing to fear. Part 2 is going to be, out of which world? Which world did he come into to save us out of? What's the distinction? Because there's different terms as to cosmos and world. So Trenton Garmin, encouraging you, so I hope, peace be with you, with the message of the gospel, the true gospel. God gave us his son on the cross, and he gives us his son every day that you choose to not lay and see, but to roll over, get up, and get to Mass and receive him in the Sacred Heart. It's handed out by priests about 300,000 times a day throughout the world. Peace be with you, Father Llewellyn.